Years and years and years and years ago, when finally had a chance to talk to the great Montreal Canadian John Beliveau, I asked him, what the two of the players gave him the hardest time. Well, he said, of course, number one was defensive stalwart Dave Keon, and number two, which we found out throughout the years, he had a good way on the defensive side, Eddie Shack. Now, for people in the States who don't know who Eddie Shack is, it's too bad because Eddie was basically called the entertainer, and because of his proboscis, the nose, every game he played, every shift he gave 100%. He was a very interesting cat. And he basically became part of the pop culture of the Maple Leafs in the years that they were dominant in the NHL in the 1960s. He won 4 Stanley Cups in Toronto, but today we're just going to go over a little bit of his career because he became a businessman later on, but we'll begin that very quickly. Now, Edward Stephen Philip Shack passed away, of course, just this week, July 25th. He was born to Ukrainian immigrants. Now, the beautiful community of Sudbury, Ontario, was his birthplace. And actually, he left his job, get this, as a butcher to try out with the Guelph Biltmores Hockey Club, knowing he could return to the trade if hockey did not pan out as a career. Now, with the Guelph Biltmores, he played in numerous successful seasons. But his big one was a 1957 season where he notched 47 goals and 57 assists for 101 points, and he got his team all the way to the Memorial Cup. Now, he was undrafted because at the time there was no draft until the early 60s. He ended up with all teams, the New York Rangers. Now, after some seasoning with the Providence Reds, for a season, he ended up with the Rangers in 1959. Rookie year had 7 goals, 14 assists, 21 points. He split time between the Rangers and the affiliate Springfield Indians, but when it became huge is when the Toronto Maple Leafs picked him up for the 1961 season. Now, he was basically a player that always gave 100% in the ice. His statistics didn't really reflect how talented he was. Now, in the 1960 run with Toronto, he won 4 cups, of course, in 3 straight, 62, 63, and 64, and 1967 before finding himself with a couple of seasons with the Bruins, and a couple of seasons with the Kings, a couple of seasons with the Buffalo Sabres, and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Then he again found himself back with Toronto and wrapped up his career in the 74-75 season with 2 goals and 26 games. Now, to call him a goal scorer would a misnomer, but he was playing on a very strong offensive line with Toronto, with the very talented Ron Ellis and the very cerebral Bob Pulford. He basically was described by one writer as having a hockey style that of a big puppy let loose in a wild field. And he was a frantic guy. He would have numerous confrontation with the bigger players in the league. Beliveau said, he had quite the whack. And he also knocked out Gordie Howe twice. And until they made a pact on a golf course that they would never hit each other again, it was going to knock somebody out. But he would, for his size, for his area, he was a pretty big player, 6'1", 200 pounds. But the frantic skating style, the only thing I can compare it with is the Hanson brothers in Slapshot. Because if you watched Eddie Shack, and he wrote a song about him too. Brian McFarlane, I think, put it together. It was called "Clear the Track, Here Comes Shack." And it reached #1 on the Canadian pop charts and charted for nearly 3 months. Now, what was notable about this Eddie Shack as well, he spent most of his career, he was illiterate. He couldn't read or write properly, and he always felt that was holding him back. And he did go on to financial success. He used that money to put it towards literacy, but his financial success came in the great Canadian soft drink chain, the Pop Shop, back in the day, or in the 1960s, 70s, and early 80s. Pop shops were literally that. There were franchise stores. They could go in and buy a whole variety of pop in 24 packs, 6 packs, 12 packs. With a whole myriad of flavors. I think it was 24 at one point, and he would always use the keyword, I got a nose for value, to plug the, which was a very good product. I know ours in Dalhousie, New Brunswick, was very, very popular, but what really killed the Pop Shop, of course, was the influx of the 2-liter bottles, because back in the day, ladies and gentlemen, the biggest bottle you could get was something called a 750 milliliter, which is still available in glass and plastic bottles now, but when the 2-liter bottles came out, it was just a matter of time, because people felt it was better value buying the 2-liter in a glass or plastic container than something in 12 ounce, which be a little bit more money. But we're talking about the Eddie Shack's literacy. He's been an advocate towards late life people that want to get their skills back to read or write properly. He was a motivation to many, many people. Now, he holds a place of Stanley Cup history for another reason. He scored the cup-winning goal in '63, and he did claim that he scored the goal when the shot hit him in the ass and went in the net, and he said he was only trying to get it out of the way. Now, he played in 3 NHL All-Star games, 62, 63, and 64. And he's one of 9 players to score 20 more goals in a season for 5 or more teams. Now, the others are Ray Shepard with 6, Ray Friero, Mike Gartner, Dean Prentice, Jaromir Jagr, Brendan Shannon, and Pat Verbeek with 5 with Shack. So that's quite a distinction. He was never going to make it a Hockey Hall of Fame, but he had a tremendous knack of making his talent appear at the right time. Full totals in NHL, 1,047 games, 239 goals, 226 assists, 465 points, and in the playoffs, 13 points with 6 goals, and 74 games. Now, Shaq lived in Toronto and died there in '83, and this comes for a bad weekend for the entertainment industry, because we not only had Eddie Shack passing away, John Saxon, Olivia de Havilland, and Regis Philbin, and each 4 of those had a big impact of the 1960s, 70s, and 80s generation across North America for obvious reasons. It seems like more and more of our multi-decade icons, and each one was an icon in their own category, because Regis for his TV work, John Saxon for being one of the best, the most underrated actor of all time, the great Olivia de Havilland, who basically was one of the last ladies of the studio system, and Eddie Shack, probably one of the most beloved players in Toronto Maple Leaf history. I don't know of any other player, when you say the name Eddie Shack, people smile. I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan. I've always respected Eddie Shack, especially the famous incident when there were a bunch of people were chasing him around the ice. I think it was some of the Plaguers, and he was skating away all the time. So, ladies and gentlemen, on this COVID Sunday, I'm just back from a research trip to St. John, and when I say research trip, is finding the best Wendy's restaurant in Canada, and the smoothies were pretty good. We had a chance also to visit the outdoor market in downtown St. John. We did distancing, we had a great time. So a shout out to all my friends and family across New Brunswick. Sorry I've been gone for a few days, but even Jesus takes a break. I'm not saying I'm Jesus, but rumors could be true or not. I don't know. Anyway, I'm just joking. I'm not the God. I'm a God. Say like Bill Murray in Groundhog Day. Have a good evening. Bye.